On the 1st of August 1944, the Polish Home Army rose in revolt against German forces occupying the capital, Warsaw. Since Germany and the Soviet Union had invaded and occupied Poland in September to October 1939, life for the Poles had been terrible. In June 1941, all of Poland came under German control following the invasion of the Soviet Union. German rule was harsh and cruel, particularly against Poland's large Jewish population who were forced into squalid ghettos and later shipped to concentration camps. The Polish Home Army was an underground resistance organization formed of Polish soldiers and patriots armed and supplied by Britain that by 1944 numbered around 400,000. And now a short word from our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Without a VPN, your internet browsing data can be tracked by your ISP and hackers. VPNs encrypt your internet data. I use VPN when I lived in China to access blocked content. So why is ExpressVPN the best? It is consistently faster than other VPN providers. VPN has server locations in 94 countries, giving you plenty of options to choose from. They have apps for every device, it's easy to use, and you connect with one click. You can securely stream or download content from anywhere, anytime. And finally, it's the market leader rated #1 VPN service by TechRadar, and all for less than $7 a month, with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Take back your internet privacy today and find out how you can get 3 months free. Go to expressvpn.com/Mark Felton. That's expressvpn.com/Mark Felton for 3 months free with a 1-year package. With the approach of Red Army forces to Warsaw in the summer of 1944, the German occupiers appeared to be on the verge of leaving the city, and the Home Army decided to rise up and take over before Stalin's troops took the city. They were encouraged by both the Western Allies, the British and the Americans, through radio broadcasts, and also by Stalin himself to do this. But Stalin was determined that Poland would become a communist satellite state, and the nationalist Home Army, whose allegiance was to the Polish government in exile in London, was problematic. When the Poles rose in Warsaw in August 1944, Stalin cynically ordered his advance on the city halted, and the Red Army stood by and allowed German forces to crush the Home Army and destroy Warsaw. In Warsaw, the Home Army had between 20,000 and 49,000 soldiers. They would face a reinforced German garrison of about 50,000 men, well supplied with armour, artillery and with air support on call. Always outnumbered and outgunned by the German occupation forces, the Home Army reused German equipment that they captured, from steel helmets, uniforms and small arms to tanks. Initially having no armour, on the second day of the rising, the Home Army managed to capture 3 brand new Panther tanks. They belonged to the 27th Panzer Regiment of the 19th Panzer Division, which was refitting in Warsaw at the time. In the early hours of the 2nd of August, the Panthers were driving through the city when Home Army troops ambushed them with Molotov cocktails. 1 Panther burned, the crew bailing out, while a second tank drove on. Turning to another street, it was hit by more Molotovs and a British gammon bomb, an anti-tank grenade. Its turret damaged, the Panther crashed into a building, and its crew was captured. A third Panther was also damaged by grenades and abandoned by its crew. 2 of the Panthers were still in working order, and were pressed into Home Army service. Each received a crew of 6 former Polish soldiers. Both of the Panthers required some repairs. One had a damaged fuel pump, which took a day to repair. On the same day that the Poles captured the 3 Panthers, the 2nd of August 1944, 2 Jagdpanzer 38T Hetzer tank destroyers were moving down a city street towards Napoleon Square without infantry support. They were on their way to support the German assault on the Home Army-held post office in the square. The Hetzers split up, and one drove into Hospital Street and was ambushed there by Molotovs and grenades thrown from nearby apartment buildings. It burned, and 3 of its 4 crew were killed. This damaged Hetzer was towed by a truck to form part of a barricade, and named Daredevil. After rudimentary repairs, it was returned to running order and held in reserve. On the 4th of September 1944, heavy German bombing caused building rubble to bury Daredevil. Unearthed in 1946, it was moved to the Polish Army Museum in Warsaw, but in 1950 the main political directorate ordered the Hetzer scrapped. Another tank captured by the Home Army was the Pzkpfw 736i, otherwise known as the Italian M1341 tank. This vehicle was being used by German order police when it was captured. It saw no service during the uprising and was later scrapped by the Soviets. Other vehicles that proved useful were Sdkfz 251 armoured half-tracks that the Home Army took off the SS. 2 were captured. On the 7th of August, one the Poles nicknamed Old Town was captured and saw little service. Another, snatched on the 14th of August, served in the armour platoon of a Home Army motorised column. Nicknamed Grey Wolf, it remained in service until the 6th of September 1944 before being recaptured by the Germans. The Panther tank with the damaged fuel pump was repaired and named Felton. Both of the captured tanks also had Polish flags painted on them for identification purposes. The Panther that crashed into the house was unfortunately stuck fast. Eventually, the Poles dismantled the wooden house to free the tank. Repaired, this tank was named Pudel in honor of a fallen Polish officer, but was known as Magda to its crew. Felton saw extensive combat, providing the Home Army with some serious firepower. It was used to liberate St. Sophia Hospital and helped to liberate the city's concentration camp where starving Jews not already shipped out of the city were barely alive. The assault on the German police school caused heavy Home Army casualties until Felton arrived to turn the tide. On the 4th of August, the Poles captured another German tank, this time a Panzer IV, but it was knocked out by the Germans on the same day. Likewise, the Home Army also managed to capture a Tiger tank on the same day, but it was also quickly lost to the Germans. On the 8th of August, the Panther tanks went into action again, but this time the Germans were prepared. As Magda turned into a German-held street, she was struck 3 times by 75mm anti-tank shells, fired by either a Panzer IV or a Hetzer. The Panther received only slight damage and withdrew, with 1 crewman injured. 2 days later, Magda knocked out a German self-propelled gun and an Sdkfz 263 8-rad armoured car, and then a machine gun nest. Felton became inoperable due to battery malfunctions. After transferring its ammunition to Magda, the Panther was blown up by the Poles on the 10th of August. Magda survived until the 11th, but was damaged in combat and abandoned. The Germans finally crushed the uprising on the 2nd of October 1944, some 16,000 Home Army members being killed and 6,000 badly wounded. In addition, 150 to 200,000 Polish civilians died. German casualties are hard to ascertain and are listed between 2,000 and 17,000 soldiers killed or missing. Warsaw itself suffered extremely badly. 25% of the city was completely destroyed. Following the Polish surrender, the Germans systematically levelled a further 35% of the city in revenge, deliberately targeting not only housing and shops, but also cultural monuments. The burned-out remains of Felton and Magda were captured by the Soviet Red Army and later scrapped. Do please check out my new channel, War Stories with Mark Felton, details in the description box below. You can also help support my channels at PayPal and Patreon, details also in the description box. And don't forget to subscribe and share.